The places we go to in our sleep, are those our alternative realities, past lives? So for me, based on my experience, it's not necessarily alternatives realities from your past lives, but also means based on your present and based on your future. For instance, years ago, before I figured out who I am, I used to consider myself being lost in life. So what that means is I used to be a negative person. I used to think a lot of negative of myself and other people. I was not necessarily hurting other people. I was more like I was hurting myself. In a way that I used to victimize myself. I used to feel like everything that has happened to me was because of God was punishing me. So everything I think was always negative, and often I always encounter a lot of negative things that will happen into my life. Even though I thought of myself being a good person because I was not hurting other people. It's more like I was hurting myself. So back then I was having a lot of dreams at the same time, but a lot or most of my dreams were based on my present. And every time I dream and waking up from my dream, I used to have panic attack or having a lot of anxiety because it almost feel like when I was dreaming, it almost feel like it was my reality. So my dream was showing me my present time. So back then, my dream was based on fear, negativity, toxicity, and all sorts of things that are not really good for me. And after experiencing a lot of negative things in my life and negative people in my life, I suddenly asked myself a question. I don't want to experience all this kind of negativity in my life. So I was kind of like seeking for guidance. So I ended up talking to God through my heart. And eventually, that's when the voice started talking to me. Even though the voice were already talking to me back then, but I was not listening to it. And that is why I turned myself around into the person I am right now, because I figured out who I am and I thought to myself, I am not lost anymore. However, I am just learning who I am currently. And the vision that I keep seeing that I am sharing here on social media is basically, it's based on the future. However, when I'm dreaming every night, I dream about my future and I don't see a lot of negative things in my dream anymore, or rarely. And that is why every time I dream at night, the next thing I do when I wake up in the morning, I write down everything to keep track of how I became as a person. And a lot of my dreams, I would end up searching right away to know what is the meaning of it. And most of the time, I'm so happy with the result and the meaning of my dreams. And as long as I will stay in the path where I'm currently taking right now, then I will continue having an abundant life. I will continue a lot of good things or positive things that will happen into my life. And of course, I'm not going to tell you guys that I'm an expert of everything. No, I am only sharing you what I know and what I've experienced based on what I've experienced in my life as being here on earth. And I believe that if you're always dreaming about your past lives, that could also means that you are currently living in the past. You're not currently living in the present moment. However, if you're dreaming a lot of good things about your past lives, that could also indicate something good in your life. Meaning there might be something that you have to go back in your past that you need to resolve in order for you to move on with your current life right now. I hope this answers your question, sister. So how do you search the meaning of your dreams? Well, to be honest with you, I am still searching of how to research the meaning of my dream. And as far as I know, my dreams are supposed to be my future and messages that came from my guides, because a long time ago, a few months ago, my guides told me that in order for them to communicate me, they will also communicate me through my dreams. And when I get my visions, or when I have my visions, it's supposed to be the future events that will happen here on earth, and they're showing it to me ahead of time. And sometimes when I get visions, it also represents my past, or the past events that happened to me, of where I came from before, or maybe where I came from a different dimension. So my visions are based on my past and the future of the earth or the world, and my dream is based on my future that will happen eventually. And the weird thing about my dreams, it is so vivid that it almost feel like I am part of the dream. Well, I am there too, but sometimes I don't realize or I don't recognize that I'm dreaming. And the crazy part about it is when I'm dreaming, even though I am here in Canada, they're always showing me my past province, my past province where I used to live in the Philippines. And it's the province or it's the house that I was living when I was a little girl. So that is something that I still don't understand why I keep seeing my childhood house in the Philippines even though I'm here in Canada. So yes, I dream every night and every morning I write them down so that I won't forget.